Hello, beautiful souls. Gosh, I'm behind again getting down here to be with you all. I'm questioning what's going on for me. What is it that's slowing me down or rushing me forward? And that's where I'm sitting at. The last week or so, I've been, what is it that's that I'm allowing to not get me to where I need to be when I need to be there. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I'd love to know where you're at in this process. I hope you had a beautiful summer solstice yesterday. I usually like to get up with the sun and celebrate the solstice, or stay up latest to the sunset and enjoy the longest day of the year. I think it was 16 hours and 40 minutes of daylight yesterday. Unfortunately, where I am living, that wasn't the case. The sun did not shine brightly on us. I knew it was there in the foreground of the clouds, but it was nonetheless a day to recognize a transition, something that's going on in our planetary system. Things that our forefathers and our foregrandmothers really looked at as their places where they could discern and make decisions with the length of the time that they had for sunlight. So when we think back, it was pretty impactful, the fact that they realized the turning point where the days started to become shorter in light. And that's where we're at. We now hit our peak of our brightness, so to speak. And now we work towards the harvest season, which is August and September, where the sun has come and it's been the hottest or the brightest or the most abundant, and it's toasted those wheat fields, those grain fields. I grew up in the prairies, and it wasn't till I was a mom and I was driving back with my children to visit my mom. She had been diagnosed with early onset dementia, so we went back straight away to be with her and stay with her. So, but I was like, put your windows down, girls, in the truck, and smell these toasty wheat fields. It was so beautiful. It was such a remembering. Scent plays such a huge role in our lives. And I don't know if we give scent enough credit, but scent brings you, me, whoever is smelling it, to that nanosecond of the present moment. That nanosecond of the present moment. And that's what the awareness does. The awareness of knowing when something is getting in front of what is most important to us, and what is that something, and what is the need in that something that is so strong that allows us to make that choice, because it's a choice in that given moment, whether it's procrastination or whether we are creating ourselves in our busyness of our world because we're so busy. Because we're just so busy. So the first thing that I did when I got up this morning, or not even when I got up this morning, when I realized I was up super early this morning, I'm like, how many hours does it take you, Deborah? How many? I started questioning myself. What's going on here? And first thing, that once upon that realization, I took my diffuser and I put 5 drops of bergamot in it, and I put it on high. Because I'm thinking, gosh, if this is what I'm experiencing in my environment right now, when my daughter wakes up, she may or may not be mirroring similar experience. We also have our 5th planet in retrograde today, and today is also actually 11:45 p.m. last night in Pacific time. The eclipse came in, the solar eclipse. And I was actually trying to stay up late to watch it on the dateandtime.com, but I didn't make it. so I just went to sleep. But it's called the Ring of Fire because the moon is going in front of the sun, and the sun is bigger, so it creates this fire around it. So I'm going to have to go on the dateandtime.com today. Maybe they'll have a replay of the eclipse that we're experiencing. Now you can imagine that that has some energetic force to it, some energetic experience with that happening in the solar system. And also with the planets moving back into themselves. Retrograde is like, even if it's an illusion that the planet is almost going backwards. And each planet moves at a different pace. So they stay in those areas longer. It's such an interesting field of study. I wish I could do it all in this lifetime. But instead, I dabble in different parts of it in fascination and curiosity of what it creates in our environment. Because our environment is the most important thing, especially for our cells and our nervous system and everything that goes along with that. So I took some bergamot and I put it in the environment of my home. And another great thing to do with it is take a little bit on, if you have, when you have it, or if you have it, take a little bit of it on your finger. And I work with Tiffany Carroll because she's a Chinese medicine doctor as well. And so she's got lots of great knowledge as far as the acupoints. And you put it on what's called Shen Men, right in here. And it offers balance. You see, we're on the left and right hemisphere of the brain. We're in the tender points of the skin and absorption in the ear. And we can sit with that. And even if we don't have the oil, you can still do this. You can bring in the flower property and the flower energy of bergamot and allow that to go into the Shen Men. And this, like I said, helps with the balancing of the body as well. And when we did the meditation, I was speaking to the oil of Palmarosa. Palmarosa also is an amazing oil, and it works in this part of the body on the acupoint, which is right in front of the ear, right in front of the ear. And it's good for discernment. It's good for listening. And that's why I brought it out. Actually, it brought itself out for the meditation. And listening to my insight, to your insight, your inner voice. And we can ask, when something's going on and, for instance, showing up, not, rushing to get somewhere that is of my most important thing is to be here at 8:45. I've even had a nightmare about it that I slept through it and I woke up and I was like, And another good point is the central vessel, 17, and diluted on the third eye. And that brings our heart energy together with our clarity and our intuition. And with the Palmarosa, just the same thing. You can still do this. You can still do this without having the oil because it's an energy. It's an energy. When I did the alchemical healing with Nikki Scully, and we would bring in plant medicine from the universe, it was so outstanding. It was so outstanding, the results. It seems a way out there, but you know what? I think by this point in time, your curiosity allows even greater curiosity. And this is where we go into that vast area of knowingness, And the scent brings us right to this present moment. I love bringing the flowers into the house because, and especially at this time and the environment that we're in and the hypersensitivities that we may be experiencing, because as an empath, you may be bringing on that of the collective that aggression, that hypersensitivity. And we've got Mars going into retrograde. I believe it's tomorrow. But it's in the sign of Aries, which is my sun sign. And the two signs of Aries are passion and aggression. So to be cognizant of that and lean into that, the sweet side of that contrasting duality in amongst planetary changes in signs. And I think we're in Cancer right now. So this is a beautiful emotional time. It's a watery time. It's the crab. It's the crab that's in the shell, but yet has its pincers out. You don't ever want to get caught in the crab's pincers. Living on the West Coast, we see the crabs all the time in the ocean. Let's bring our feet to the floor and turn on our sensory organs. And take those etheric feet, those tree roots, down into the central core of the earth. And bring yourself to this present moment. Here and now, engaging the diaphragmatic breath. And as you breathe in, feel the coolness on your nostrils. And on the exhale, feel the warmth now of the exhalation of the breath on the nostrils. This morning, I also did my oil pulling for 10 minutes as I was putting my lotions and potions on my face, getting ready. And after that, I did my neti, because you can't clog up the nose and keep the mouth closed at the same time. I pulled on all my resources to bring me back here to this bliss time, this bliss moment. It helped to clear my head. My head was feeling a little foggy and, well, not even foggy. It felt out of balance. It actually felt heavier on one side than it did on the other when I tuned into that total awareness. Ensured that I had a shower and allowed that water element to wash away whatever it was that wasn't serving me at this time. And that's the same thing that we do when we bring in and invite that Mother Earth energy. I did my grounding in the shower where I bring in that Mother Earth energy. I have little pebbles that I had put in on the tiles with regards to my shower. So it's almost like a little bit of a reflexology opportunity for my feet to have different pressure points on my feet. And breathe in that energy into the lower abdomen and into the lung areas. We expand the heart. Expand the heart and allow the energy to wash over the shoulders and down the hands, down our arms and into our hands. And bring it into that gateway. Thy will is my will. If you're at the place that transformation is, you're experiencing that transformation, you may be working with a lot of different discernment areas. And up into the third eye, bring that breath up and allow it to cascade down over the head and down the body, that breath right down to your toes, because your breath needs to be, your toes need as much oxygen as your nose. And then bring that energy, that Mother Earth energy, up to the top of Sahasrara and allow it to cascade down the body. It's almost like it has that ability. I was thinking that in the shower today, that it's almost like it can cleanse that first layer of our biofield, that etheric layer that's so the closest to the physical body. Sometimes I bend down and I scoop up more of Mother Earth and I take my arms out and I allow it to clear my field entirely and clean it in all directions. It's like a little Swiffer or something that's going through my energy field. I might turn my water on a little colder, from cool to cold, as I bring in that centering and aligning, preparing for aligning that hair line down to the center core of the earth, up through the spine, out the top of the head. To God, Source, Creator, Higher Self, Super Consciousness, Universal Consciousness. You can also send it out to your guides, angels, archangels, gurus, masters, the place of many names. And draw that in, permission to receive that gold and white light energy. Right in. Filling every space between each cell. Letting each sparkle of each cell illuminate as we step forward on this beautiful, beautiful day to shine bright. And it's important to do this as we step into, if that's step into action and step into looking and witnessing our thought processes. And when we're reminded that the witness sits behind our normal activity, it's watching without judgment. Watching without judgment the changing emotions, the flurries of thoughts and impulses that come through our mind. That's part of our natural nature. That's why when we go into the meditation, I say you just allow that thought to go on the train. If it's really, really, really important, it'll be there when you're done. The witness allows us to become aware of our attachments. The witness is something that above and beyond the body. Oh, got an itchy forehead. That's a good thing. That means there's energy moving. Beyond the body and beyond the experience, that's where our witness is. It says here, I'm just referring to a spot that I had highlighted with regards to the witness. To become aware of the witness is to become aware of the essence that dwells within. I really find that the essential oils help me with that as well. It takes me to that indwelling as I breathe in that scent, and it's like all my sensories breathe it with me, and all my sensory organs are in a position, including my brain, to experience that in the moment. And if you're having a hard time in this moment, be gentle. Be gentle, please be gentle with yourself. And if you have a sweet oil or something that offers the sweetness of jasmine, jasmine's blooming right now. If you have a sprig of jasmine, it's blooming here anyways. I have 2 varieties of jasmine in my yard and honeysuckle. So if you have that jasmine or roses are blooming right now. Or rose geraniums are blooming as well, but the properties of those in the distilled form really give us that essence. But even if you have it in the true nature form, the place to put that would be on the belly button, down in that emotional area and that will area. Let's go into our mantra meditation and bring in those properties of those oils that feel resonate with you, and let's go into 2 minutes of stillness. And if you wish to dedicate your stillness and share it, do so. Make a resolve to these 2 minutes are for. These 2 minutes are for my family. These 2 minutes are for my colleagues who are also out of work and just coming back into work, and they might be a little bit nervous. For this discernment to know when it's right for you to do something and when it might not be right for you to do something. For the balance of bergamot, for the discernment and the listening of pomarosa. Bringing in the helichrysum here, or the pomarosa here. Opening the heart, putting a little sweetness on your tummy. Inviting the so on the inhale and the hum on the exhale. One smooth, even breath. No noise, no pause, no jerk, no judgment. Curl your lips up just a little. Thank you so much for sitting with me today. To all the father figures in the world, I send my love. It's a difficult role sometimes, the way that society depicts the male and masculine. It's about balance. The feminine is needed as part of the masculine. Allow that part to show up. Okay. Perhaps that's why I'm having some things going on today. Awareness. Just speaking that and having and recognizing the emotion that came up with that lets me know that I'll be gentle with myself today, and I will be gentle with the representation of how I've shown up as the father figure a lot of times in my children's lives, and the representation of how my father has chosen to show up in mine and other male figures. No right or wrong, no fault or blame. Working with what is of the moment. Recognizing perhaps an unevolved part of consciousness for me within my inner child. And those too who are in that role. I'm working with unevolved pieces of consciousness. With grace and compassion, we do the work. Happiness. Always remember that on the happiness you give will depend on the happiness you get. Always remember that on the happiness you give will depend on the happiness you get. To do at each moment the best we can and leave the result to the divine's decision is the surest way to peace, happiness, strength, progress, and final perfection. To do at each moment the best we can and leave the result to the divine's decision is the surest way to peace, happiness, strength, progress, and final perfection. What a beautiful card. That's all we can do, is the best that we can. And when we do it from a place of grounded, centered, and alignment, aligning, that helps us to be the best that we can be and offer that up to the world, to yourself, to your family, to the world. It's the surest way to peace, happiness, and strength. Amen. With love. I love you. Make it a great day. See you tomorrow.